How's everybody doing?
Good to go in the back? Awesome. Coach, if you want to give us a couple of quick comments and then we'll take questions.
Yeah, obviously, you know, been doing this a long time now, and definitely a disappointing way to lose a football game. But at the end of the day, we didn't get it done, and we're going to move forward and focus on Georgia. I know we're excited about the task at hand. It's a great opportunity to host the number one team in the country, and I know our kids are excited about it. So, with that, I'll open it up.
Blake, when you look back at Saturday, what was the difference between the opening drive and the rest of the game?
Tackling, tackling. There was a couple opportunities. Again, for whatever reason, and that's something that we've looked hard at this week. Our opening drive and our tackling has not been good. I thought the running back did a good job moving their feet. We had them on the third and long on the scramble. Missed two tackles on that play that would have got us off the field. I believe that presented a fourth and one that they were able to get. So the bottom line was we have not started fast, in my opinion, from just tackling, knocking guys' legs out from under them and getting them on the ground.
Is there something you said to them specifically, Coach, after that second touchdown, kind of early on, like let this game get away from us? What did you tell them?
Yeah, I told them it's kind of it was almost like deja vu of the Kansas State game a little bit where we gave up a long drive. We had a turnover on offense and got back on a short field. The thing I told them is everything that they have done is correctable. It's not a schematic issue. We're not out of place. We just have to tackle better. And from that point on, we tackled really, really well. So, we have a couple different things we're going to do in practice this week to emphasize a quicker start and to hopefully, get our pad level down early in the game.
Blake, the final three quarters and overtime there, was that more what you want to see from this team in terms of, because I know we spoke last week about chaos and that.
Absolutely. I think we ended up with whatever it was, 12 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. Really, I mean, game of inches, a couple opportunities. We had the two forced fumbles on sacks. So the interception that was overturned there in overtime. I was really, really proud of the way our guys competed. But that's exactly what we talked about, and that's what this defense is built on, being able to get teams behind the chains and then creating turnovers whenever, force them into a mistake. So was very, very happy to see that happen on Saturday.
What was different about the way they responded to being down early against Auburn versus now against Kansas State?
I don't think there was any difference. You look back at that Kansas State, I think it was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back there in the fourth quarter. But when you look back, I think we ended up forcing whatever it was, 6 straight punts or something versus Kansas State. So I've never, this far into the season, not doubted one bit our resiliency, our ability to bow our neck, and when things aren't going our way, I just want us to start a little quicker. You know what I mean? But I do believe that our guys, in the face of adversity, they bow their neck and are willing to fight.
Blake, what's the sideline like? I mean, in the game, I think there were 12 straight punts in that game. Is it kind of resolved? What is it when you're in the midst of that and you stop them, but then you're right back out there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you really don't. You really don't feel it. You know what I mean? At the moment, it's you're living in the moment. It's play by play, and that's something that we harp on. We can't control what happens when we're not on the field. Control what we do when we get on the field. So we don't harp on what's happening with the offense. That's something that us as coaches sitting there with the players on the bench, we're not going to allow any negative talk or because it doesn't help anything. And then our guys have not done that. So again, it's just living in the moment. When to us, it's another opportunity to take the field and hopefully create a takeaway. So we look at it as a blessing.
Go figure. I know you said it wasn't a schematic issue early in the game. Were there any adjustments that you made after those first two drives that worked?
Um, there were a couple things we tightened our middle field safety down when we noticed that they just weren't willing to throw the football. That would probably be the biggest adjustment we made. But other than that, it was really kind of what we went into the game with. There was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
I was going to piggyback off of what he said. It seems like I noticed after during the K State game, when you guys gave it a couple touchdowns early, you did the same thing as Auburn, went to that 5-2 defense. Is there something about that that kind of settles the team down before you guys can make the switch back to the 4-2?
Uh, it's really kind of just a feel thing, from my standpoint. There's again, it's kind of the flow of the game, but no, we don't. It's not necessarily we're going there to calm them down. It's just kind of a feel thing. How I'm feeling, at that time based off of what the offense is doing to us.
Coach, looking at the Georgia, you've got a quarterback in Sept coming in who's taken it massively forward this year, just being so efficient. What have you seen from him on film, and then how do you force him into some mistakes potentially?
It's going to be hard to force him into mistakes because what I've seen on film is he's like a coach on the field. I mean, they're extremely efficient as an offense, and it starts with him. I mean, that ball gets out quick. He knows where to go usually before the ball hits his hands. So you see the ball get out quick. You see him make really good decisions, and when something is, his first read is taken away, he's able to progress and get through his reads. And if then all his reads are covered, he's got ability to extend plays with his legs. So I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. And I think the biggest thing when you study this offense is their efficiency. I mean, I forgot the exact numbers, but I think they have like 4 third and 9 pluses in 4 games. I mean, it's hard to get these guys behind the sticks, and I think it starts with the quarterback. I think he's able to get them in and out of the plays that he wants based off of the look that he sees, and then when the ball snapped, he knows where to go with the ball in an instant. So he's probably one of the smartest quarterbacks that will probably play all year. In my opinion, I think he does a phenomenal job with his pre-snap read, and then again with his post-snap eyes.
When you look specifically at their tight ends, I mean Bowers and I think Washington's like 6'7",
Yeah.
280 or something. I mean, I, what kind of a unique challenge are those guys, and what can a defense? What's the best defensive plan against guys like that?
Well, we're gonna find out Saturday if we got the best defensive plan. But no, those guys are nightmare matchups. I was able when I was at Miami, we actually recruited Washington, and I remember recruiting him, calling him LeBron James. I mean, the dude is 6'7". I think he's 275 or whatever he's listed at now. I mean, he is a nightmare matchup. And then obviously Bowers, the way they utilize him, split him out at receiver. He'll play traditional tight end where he's very physical at the point of attack. They obviously get him the ball on speed sweeps. I mean, they utilize both those guys in a lot of different ways that makes it tough on a defense.
Have you seen other teams use a guy that size on the sweeps and the running plays?
The Kansas City Chiefs, but not in college. No, it's impressive what that young man could do.
Blake, briefly looking at the other side of the ball, like just even before it came to Missouri, what is it that Georgia does so successfully on defense outside of players? And then for you as the defensive coordinator, is there anything that you kind of pick up or try and take away just from watching what a team like Georgia that's been so successful defensively has been able to do? Is there any of that that goes on?
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny you ask that. Yeah, I think they're besides having really good players, they're really well coached, the reason I say it's funny you ask that, until obviously I was in the SEC. Little backstory. So Glenn Schumann, who's the defense coordinator, his dad was my defense coordinator in college. So I've known Glenn since he was waist high, and then Will Muschamp was the guy that really got me into this business. He was the guy that hired me at the University of Texas. So the amount of respect I have for those two guys, and for as long as I've known them, I know what kind of coaches they are. But we used to, before I got in the SEC, we used to meet every offseason and kind of cross over and talk ideas. So, yeah, I've been meeting with those guys for years and have a ton of respect for what they do.
Blake, Damien Wilson saw some more action when Chad Bailey went out for a little bit. What's kind of stood out with him in his second year in college?
I thought he answered the bell. Up until last week, he hasn't played a ton of snaps for us. So, but I thought he did a great job. Calling the defense and making plays when they presented themselves. I was really impressed with him.
Blake, seems like Christian Williams keeps showing up. I mean, for a guy that you guys got so late, has he been sort of a pleasant surprise?
Oh yeah, no, he's a stud. He's been more than a pleasant surprise. His attitude off the field. I mean, you're not going to find a nicer guy. When you have a bad day, you just run into Christian Williams and he'll cheer you up. But when he gets in between those lines, he's a monster. I've been impressed with him from his leadership, from his play on the field, from his character off the field. He's been a great addition to us. I think our goal every week is to improve. So I don't know if we're ahead or if we're behind, but every single week we come out here Tuesday, we want to get better than we were last Tuesday, and that's the ultimate goal. And if we do that every single week, I think at the end of the day, at the end of the season, we'll look back and say we had a pretty good defense. So, um, and every game's independent of each other. So every single week's a new challenge. So I don't know again if we're ahead or behind, but I am impressed with the way they have gotten better and come to work every single week. I thought last Saturday, was our most complete game. Really, the first time all season, I felt like. It was a complete four-quarter game from us. So hopefully we can build on that. And we can't be result-oriented. And that's what I told the guys. At the end of the day, we didn't get the win. There's no moral victories. But, again, all we can do is control what we can control and work at getting better every single day. We take the field, practice with a purpose.
But Dylan Carnell seems to have taken quite a step forward this season. What have you made of his progress and his performances so far this season?
Yeah, he's done a really nice job. He's a guy that has a really good skill set. I think he's 6'2", 220. He can run. He's really really fast. He's explosive. No, I've been impressed with Dalen. He's still a young guy that's still learning learning to work and get better every single day. But he's showed up on Saturdays.
Coach, you talked a little bit about this earlier, but what can you just say about the way your guys have ran to the fight, especially in those games where you guys have gotten off to a little bit of a slow start?
Yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with their resiliency. Again, just their ability to block out the noise or block out what's happening, at that moment in the game and just take it play by play. It's encouraging to see, to say the least. But yeah, I think that's probably one of our biggest positive attributes right now is I don't ever feel like we're out of the fight as long as we have a chance.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We've got Dalen Carnell at the podium. If you've got questions for Dalen.
Jalen, it seems like every time you're out there, you're making a tackle here or there. What's been working for you the past couple weeks?
Really just locking in, doing my assignment, and really just playing fast. Coach Baker he puts me in the right position, so when I get out there, I just do what I learned from practice and just play fast, make plays.
Dylan, how hard is it mentally to come back from kind of losing a game like you did on Saturday?
It's not that hard. We've had a lot of good things that we did, so we're just gonna take the good, move on, and just apply it to this week. So.
How fun is it to play on a defense like this where you can kind of see the progression of this defense getting better and better each week?
It's real fun. Like I said before, really just being able to play real fast, knowing your assignment, playing fast, and just being able to make plays.
Dalen, after playing sparingly last season, what are, I guess, some of the biggest things that you've learned with your increased action this year? And then, how, I guess, would you evaluate your performance, thus far?
Um, well, my performance so far, I think it's been good. Can always be better. I know the first few games I missed a couple tackles. I've been trying to work on that, fixing my ankles and stuff. From last year, really just learning and getting more comfortable and really getting stronger, being more physical. So,
Dylan, is there's something about Coach Baker's scheme that you think suits your style of game, suits the way you like to play?
yeah, I think the star position really just suits everything about me. Being able to cover, being able to be in a box, and like I said, making it simple so I can play fast and just be physical.
Yeah, what kind of unique challenges do you foresee coming from Georgia on Saturday?
Um, well, as y'all know, real good team. So I mean, I don't. I mean, they have some real good tight ends. The star position we match up with tight ends a lot. So probably that. Just really looking forward to it.
Jalen, when you kind of talk about playing that star position and being able to having it be more simple for you to go and make plays,
By what? Like what you mean? Like
Like
being.
a play that you've made just from being in the start position where it's been simpler for you and you've just been able to go attack it.
Oh yeah. Like a lot of the times we basically like the force of the defense, so we're supposed to set edges. So if I see something coming out, just really going to set the edge, defeating the block, just making the play. It's really as simple as it gets. That's like practice.
When you had the tip pass, I think in overtime, did you know Martez was behind you? Like, what were you thinking about on that play? And I guess what were your emotions when you like first realized that you guys thought he had made the interception?
So I seen the ball in the air. I wanted to pick it, but like as the ball was coming, I was already falling a little bit. But then as I tipped it, I did see Martez like dive for it. I thought he picked it. So yeah.
Anything else for Dalen? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Got Damian Wilson at the podium if you've got questions for Damian.
Damien, what have you kind of learned from like Chad Daly and the other veteran linebackers through camp and through the first couple of seasons?
I learned a lot about from Chad. You know, he's an old guy in the room, and I just look up to him. We watch film to learn formations and what other teams are gonna do. He just showed me a lot.
I mean, you guys go down 14 early. What's kind of the response on the sideline?
It's just to get back into it. Don't really let it phase us, and just make plays.
When Chad goes down with that injury and your number is called, what are you thinking at that moment?
I feel like I will prepare myself to be just to be ready for my number to be called and just to do what I came here to do, play football.
Damien, what's the mindset of the defense going into this weekend's challenge against Georgia, and kind of how do you guys prepare for that?
Just to really build off last week. We made a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage, and if we do that again this week, I feel like we'll be fine.
How do you kind of hope to be able to make those plays, get behind Georgia's offensive line and make those?
Just do the scheme and play hard, just like that, man.
What do they do offensively that's unique to them?
Say it again.
What do they do offensively that's unique to them?
You say it one more time.
Yeah, what do they do offensively that's like a different thing that like just
Nothing really. They do a lot of motions and stuff like that, but a lot of teams in the SEC do that. But it'll be all right.
Coach Baker just said, you were doing a good job, calling the plays and things like that, and getting people set. Is that something unique? Did you have to do that before? Is that something you got to learn?
I feel like I really got to keep building on it. You know, being a Mike linebacker, you got to be able to get everybody lined up and run the show, really. But I feel like I'm getting better at it, growing every day.
What do those two tight ends bring to the table for Georgia?
I mean, they're big physical guys, fast. But as long as we do as long as we do what we train to do, then I feel like we'll be fine.
They're the number one team in the country, just the type of game that, you come out a place like this for, but just how excited are you?
How excited I am?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very excited. Playing at SEC is like a dream come true. My number being called, I just feel like I got to step up, man. Do what I got to do.
What's that, the anticipation of the challenge going up against, really talented guys like Georgia has?
Coach always tells us a faceless opponent. So I feel like if we just do the scheme and play how we play, and we'll be all right.
Anything else for Damian? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We've got Joseph Charleston at the podium if you've got questions for Joseph.
What's going on?
Joe, now, a couple games into the season being one of the top contributors on this team, how have you kind of settled into a role as maybe being, a leader on this team and then just kind of the off-the-field stuff as well week to week?
Yeah, I mean, like I said already, I feel like I already came into the team. We already had a good group of leaders. So, I mean, my job is to, just try to get in line and, try to help people, help lead them where I can. But my bad. For the most part, no, I mean, we already had a really good group of leaders. So it's not like, me coming in once the season started and how things have played out. I feel like we've already had like a really good process going. So I think tackling. I mean, I think tackling, especially early. Getting into a good rhythm early on. But I mean, we need to work on everything. There's nothing that you can be too good at. So I would say that we need to work on everything. But I think tackling early on is probably a big, um, yeah, probably.
What's how fun is it to play, with this defense where every week it seems like you guys are progressively getting better and better.
No,
You feel the game.
yeah, it's really fun. I think that our confidence each week has gone up, and our confidence in the scheme and just our comfort level in the scheme has gone up. So I think that has played a big role into that, and I think that we're also just a lot more comfortable. We've had a lot more practices. Each week we're practicing, and you can tell just the uh, vocalness out there is getting a lot better as the season goes on.
Joseph, how much does Coach Baker's scheme suit you?
I love his scheme just because it helps me play free and fast. I think his scheme is really well. He tells me a lot of things that has helped me with my game, especially at DB and at safety. Where to get my eyes and stuff like that. But I think it has helped me a lot just because, his scheme. He comes from a place where he's had really athletic DBs, so his scheme helps athletic DBs play athletic, and I like that because it helps me play instinctual.
Joseph, what's challenging about going up against this Georgia offense, especially with the tight ends they've got?
Yeah, I mean Georgia obviously is a really good team. You know, I think that there's nothing that they don't do good. So it's going to be a big challenge coming up, but we're ready for the challenge. And I think as a defense, I think that we will come out, and I think that we're a good defense too. So I think that it's a really good offense going up against a really good defense. So.
You talked a lot about watching film, watching at night, and texting Coach Baker last time you were up here, and
Mhm.
going up against a big team like Georgia, what Matt said. But are you watching any extra film, for these guys?
Yeah, I mean, I always watch a lot of film. Yeah, so like I watch film when I go back home too. I got like a little adapter thing that I put on, and it turns onto the TV, so I'll go home and watch that. But I mean, it's really kind of just watching them and kind of just seeing different things that they do. But I feel like I'm not taking this week on any differently than I've taken any other week this season on. So yeah.
Joseph, you're down 14-0. You give up touchdowns on the first two drives. Is there anyone like giving speeches? Is there anyone trying to hype everyone up? Like, what was it like down there? And what worked?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the defense, or I mean, not I say the defense just because I'm with the defense all the time. So, but the whole team really just you could tell the look in their eyes. They didn't look like the game was over, which it wasn't. It was still a really early game. But there was a lot of people out there that was trying to help people keep the same energy that they had to start the game off with throughout the whole game. And even at halftime, there was a lot of people that was, trying to, keep people into the game. I guess you could say.
It's been a lot. There's been a lot of talk, obviously, like, your play, JC, Martez, you guys playing really well in this three safety set, but Dalen Carnell has really, come on as of late. What have you been telling him, and how impressed are you with his play and how he's been able to step up in that role?
Yeah, I mean, I don't tell DC anything. DC's a baller. He's naturally gifted and he's got a lot of confidence. So, I don't really tell him anything. If I ever did tell him something, I'd probably just say go out there and do what you do. But, I don't say too much to him just because he already has big confidence in himself and he's been playing really well. So, I don't tell him anything.
Just you're part of the Clemson team last season that held this Georgia offense, a little bit different Georgia offense, but
Mhm.
essentially the same Georgia, to 10 points in the game. So anything you can use from that to help you this weekend or help your teammates out?
Yeah, just going to the game with, confident, going to the game with a lot of confidence, believing in yourself, believing in your abilities, and that the work that you put on the practice field is going to show up on Saturdays. But yeah, that's the main thing.
Joe, kind of piggybacking off that, I mean, you've already played him once, obviously, but is there any extra kind of meaning for you being from Georgia, playing against, kind of the home state team, or is it same faces opponent?
Um, I mean, not not. It's not really like I care. I care about playing a team from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? That means a lot to me. But at the same time, I like football, and I'm gonna prepare just because it's again the next game. So, it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal to me. I would say.
Anything else for Joseph? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Christian Williams at the podium if you have questions for Christian.
Christian, you guys held Tank Bigsby to 7 rushing yards in the final 3 quarters on Saturday. Kind of what went into the adjustments and, being able to contain that?
It starts with practice. Like Coach always say, practice execution equals game day reality. So just putting the emphasis on stopping the run, running the ball, and covering kicks, and stopping the run was mostly our biggest emphasis in going into that game. So just as a defensive line, that's what we mainly put emphasis on. And then with Coach Davis coaching us and working the techniques, going through like the progressions all throughout practices and stuff. So that I feel like they correlated within the game. So when the game time came, it was just natural.
6 straight drives there when you made that punt. What was working so well?
On the defensive side, everybody was just playing out together, and we trusted each other. Everybody had a specific job to do, and I feel like we executed our job. And as a defense and as a unit, we pride on just 4 and outs or takeaways. So just stopping big plays, stopping explosive plays, and causing havoc to the offense was one of the biggest emphasis that we put on. So I just feel like they just correlated as well going into practice.
Christian, can you talk about the linebacker play, especially Tyron Hopper? He had 10 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack. How does it feel like when you're in the trenches, knowing that your linebacker group behind you, they're gonna make sure they stop anything?
Nah, it's definitely a blessing knowing that those guys behind will take care of everything that we don't pick up on, or just see the offenses and stuff like that and know how to read offenses. So it's a blessing to have those guys around, and they display that throughout daily, day to day, throughout practice and stuff. With just bringing out the energy and just like being the leaders of the defense. So all this stuff kind of like just bundles up into how they play, and it shows like the effort that they put in throughout day to day.
Christian, what do you think's maybe working for you here that perhaps wasn't working at Oregon?
What you mean?
Just in terms of your play, level of play.
Um, I wouldn't say it's nothing specific that was just kind of like working. I just feel like just starting to put more emphasis on the little things, just trying to buy in more. You can always improve on something day by day. Just try not to make the same mistake over and over again. Just trying to make a new mistake, if anything, and then just putting more trust into the process.
What are some of the little things you've been working on?
Like, it can be as small as just making sure that everybody pick their trash up and stuff like that. It's just stuff like that. Cause like at the end of the day, if I can trust someone to be able to pick up their trash and be able to throw it away, then I can most definitely trust them on the field. So it's just little things like that. Yeah.
Christian, Blake Baker talked about how when anyone's down, they come to you. Like you can cheer anyone up on the field. Is that kind of like a leadership trait that you see in yourself?
I wouldn't say just a leadership trait. I mean, I just feel like if anyone is in like despair or anything like that, I mean, I feel like it's an obligation for me to just, give them an energy and not try to deplete their energy or degrade their energy or any type of way or form of fashion. So I just feel as if, at the end of the day, these are like brothers. Like, it's a family here. And if I'm not taking care of the family, then I'm doing myself, just I'm not taking advantage of the opportunity that I have at hand. So I just feel like, if just showing them that I care and I'll be there for them in hard times and stuff like that, they'll put more trust into me. And I feel like that'll display on the field. So, I mean, on and off the field correlates from one another.
Christian, we all know it's the #1 team in the nation, but defensively, you guys first off, going into this, knowing how well you guys played against the SEC foe?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Who wouldn't want the opportunity to play the number one team? And the fact that we got the opportunity, and this is the most important game, just because it's the next game. So, just when it boils down to it, just basically just executing our game plan and trusting in our abilities and trusting the process and falling back on our preparation instead of rising up to the occasion would be just like the best situation for us. So, really that's about it.
Anything else for Christian? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night.